Come, gather round, everyone. They're about to talk Disney. I am still so confused as to whether I'm going to eat at Connections or Creations. So the only way I can keep them straight is I have to think, okay, well, my mouth connects to my stomach, so I guess that's Connections.
So I call Catherine to see how dinner at the restaurant is going, and she says, I can't talk to you right now. I'm talking to Mickey. So I'm like, okay, here's the big cheese. I get it. And then she says, hold on, he wants to talk to you. So she FaceTimes me, and I'm FaceTiming with Mickey as I'm getting ready for the podcast.
I don't understand why people spend hard-earned money on a Mickey ice cream sandwich in the parks. I mean, we literally all have ice cream sandwiches in our freezers at home. We don't have Mickey bars. From the mind and creator of the Disney YouTube channel Living in Diz comes a whole new Disney podcast. Okay, can we talk some serious Disney here now? Nope. Get ready for all the Disney knowledge that you can handle. It's Corey. It's Lawrence. It's the Diz Pod. Hello and welcome everyone to another Diz Pod. We are so happy to be here. So excited. Jam-packed show today, Lawrence. Very excited.
I had to write down some show notes on this one. It was so busy.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to talk about Epic Universe. They just dropped some great news. And we're also going to talk about Inside the Parks was a little bit special this week, I would say.
Yeah.
And we'll talk all about that and our adventures, as it is the most popular segment of the Diz Pod, which is pretty cool to know.
Yeah.
And that's why we do those surveys. And ultimately today we are going to talk about Disney's park rides and queues and pre-shows. Mm-hmm. So plenty to talk about there. Welcome everyone. We do this live because we do it for you. So welcome everyone in chat. We also give equal love to all of those who listen at their convenience. So what's going on, Lawrence? What episode is this, by the way?
Oh, thanks for the test. 36, I believe.
All right. Episode 36 on our way to 500. Yes, sir.
Right around the corner. Yeah, this is season 2, episode 5. So plus 31. 36. There's some Diz math for you right there.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So what is going on in the world of the parks? Let me think. So Epic Universe dropped some major news this week. And let me tell you, what they have coming, what is in store is just unbelievable. Disney was put on notice this week because let me tell you, they're not playing around. No. They have this entrance called Celestial Park, and it's a park. It is Amaze Diz. I mean, it's all centralized all the way down the middle, leading up to a huge hotel resort, and it's beautiful. Lush foliage, little lakes, fountains, glass buildings. This is going to be, it's appropriately named because I keep saying epic. It's going to be epic.
Yeah.
Just to be able to walk that and enjoy that. It's like how we walk through Epcot, Dreamer's Point. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, we had a good feeling. We love walking through it. It's tradition now for us to sometimes end the stream there, but also stop there before we may go out to Spaceship Earth and end the live stream there. this is on steroids, man. It's crazy. And from there, you're going to be able to access these portals to the different lands.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Dark Universe where you'll enter and you can enjoy all that they have to offer for I don't want to call them villains, but the epic Universal Studios characters.
Yeah.
The monsters. Yes, the monsters, right? So there's all that. There's another portal for Super Nintendo, and you're going to be able to enter the wizarding world of Harry Potter. And of course, the biggest area by far is going to be How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. And you enter all these portals, and then boom, you're in this whole new world. So I am even more excited about this than ever now. And Disney has to be put on notice at this point. This is not just, we can't treat this as, I guess it really didn't sink in till today when I saw the video that, you know, I just kind of thought in the back of my mind, okay, they're opening up a new land. No, this is a new major park. They're literally opening up another park. What do you think?
They're putting in one park, you have Super Nintendo World and Harry Potter. Come on. That is major. Now, I'm not a Disney apologist, but I will say Magic Kingdom will still be the #1 visited park in 2025. Here's the difference, though. There's a lot of money, tourist money, that is going to be going over to Epic. So there has to be a response to Epic really, really quickly. Really, really quickly.
There really does. There really does have to be a Disney response because, like you just said, there's a lot going on there. And let me see. Hold on one second. Wow, it's almost double the size of Universal Studios. This park.
Wow.
They're not playing, and Disney does. Like, I don't know the financial side, but they may have to start looking out for loans and sponsors or something.
Yeah.
Like you said, I mean, I don't know numbers. Like, do you think that Disney will show a significant dip in the parks in 2025 and 26 to be hurtful or not?
I think they're financially sound in the park, so I don't think it's going to hurt them. It's certainly going to be a down year from 2024. That's for sure. They're going to have less people in the parks, or they're going to combat Epic with major discounts for resorts, and there's going to be ticket deals and stuff like that to keep people in the parks longer. That's what I think. And they've either got to do the expansion that they talked about, the revamp of Dinoland. I mean, there's got to be some major stuff at D23 this year if they're going to compete with Epic. There's no two ways about it.
Do you think Disney's big enough where they don't have to actually combat that with a whole new park, but just do a lot of the additions they talked about? Especially in Magic Kingdom, right? With a potential villains area and Coco and that kind of stuff.
I think that there is enough. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's enough there between Epcot and Hollywood and Magic that the revamping of those three would be, well, and Animal Kingdom too, would be huge enough to combat Epic. But I mean, now you're talking about how soon is that going to happen? Because a lot of that stuff was still blue sky. So if, Dino Land isn't being torn down for 4 years, then what do you do? Because now you're talking about losing money to Epic and Universal for at least 3, 4, 5 years before we see something come back. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting couple of years. I will certainly spend some money at Epic Universe, no question about that. But whereas for us, Universal used to just be a 1-day park, or Universal and Islands of Adventure used to just be a 1-day park. Epic on its own looks like it's got to be at least a 2-day park. I don't see how you could get through Epic Universe in 1 day. I mean, you could probably spend most of 1 day in Super Mario Land or Super Mario World.
Yeah, I'll have to look at some videos of what goes on over there in Hollywood and see if it's actually a park that you can spend most of the day in.
Yeah,
that's the thing, right? I mean, so you have to think about that. Is Epic Universe a 1-day park?
Yeah, I don't think it. Looking at it, I don't think it will be, especially in the beginning, because everything is new. You're going to want to do everything, and the lines are going to be out of control. So, Super Mario World's going to have 2-hour waits for everything, probably, if not more.
Mm-hmm. I want to thank Mark L for becoming the latest member of the LID Club. Congratulations. That gets your name highlighted in green. You get to use all the emojis, as well as you get access to the members only podcast, which we just did a half hour ago. And what else can I tell you? And you'll get your name. It depends. I don't know what level of member he became. If you're at least a Magical Express member, and then Skyliner and Monorail, you would be able to participate in having your name in the credits at the end of the park live streams. So congratulations. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. So yeah, and in chat, PDC says Universal versus Disney will come down to the quality of the ride. I have to say that Universal does an amazing job at the quality of their rides.
Mm-hmm. True.
I mean, it would be interesting, and we'll never know what Disney would have done with Harry Potter World, because originally they had the first dibs at it, but they wanted too much control. I would love to see the comparison there, but we will never know that.
We'll never know. But man, that would be interesting. So in chat, what's everybody thinking? Do you think Disney will announce something that's going to make a difference and kind of combat the Epic Universe opening? Do you think it's going to happen soon? Do you think it's a couple of years? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good topic here. I didn't think we'd go this long on it, but it's okay.
I didn't think so either.
Yeah. So welcome in Sarah Dash, Allison, Pamela V, Melissa Winters, Shannon Woods, PDC. Welcome everybody. And make sure you hit that like button. We appreciate that. And subscribe if you're new here. And also let us know if you have discovered us through the podcast only. And then you're like, whoa, they actually do live streams and shorts and vlogs. So busy night here for us. We're doing 3 podcasts tonight, 2 of our own and 1 as a guest. Lily's Life, hello and welcome.
Yes, we'll be a guest on Miles from Main Street. They are a audio podcast and part of the Disney podcast family, which we are. So I'm going to play that real quick.
You are now listening to a member of the Disney Podcast family. Head over to Disney Podcast Family on Instagram to see all the latest posts for this show and links to other great Disney podcasts.
So there you go.
And we're proud to be part of that family as well. And we will say that we are now proud to say that on feedspot.com, we went from 8 last week to number 7, the 7 best Disney podcast in the world, according to feedspot.com, as we climb the ranks.
That's just incredible. You look at some of them and they've got 200 episodes. Some of them do 3 episodes a week. And here we are, the kind of new guys on the street with 36 episodes in, and we're already number 7. And a lot of that is thanks to all of you for watching and liking and subscribing and commenting, which really makes a difference. And FeedSpot is seeing that and taking notice. So we definitely appreciate that. We
really, really do. And Yelnak says, congratulations on lucky number 7. Other things to point out, I believe starting February 1st, I don't have the dates in front of me. I don't have access to my phone at the moment, but I did see that Black History Month is that February.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of things that Disney has planned from park to park that are going on. So we'll have to cover that when I can lay eyes on that. And
Yeah, and there'll be some Valentine's Day treats as well. Speaking of February, we already had a poll in chat, and it was, do you know anyone born on February 29th? And
really?
78% of the people said no.
Oh.
And they're all wrong. They know
Oh.
somebody born on February 29th.
Was that you?
No.
Oh.
Neil.
Was it Walt?
Neil.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes. I knew that one. I knew that answer.
Yeah.
Yes. It's really hard to know how old you really are when you're born on a leap year.
That's right.
They should cancel all pregnancies. No one's all labors. No one can go into labor on that day because it just messes everyone up.
Messes everything up. It's like when twins are born on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. You know, like, how can you be a twin and have a different day?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Paris Ralph Smith, welcome to the podcast. Hello, David C. David and SC, and Samantha Stack, welcome. All right, well, time to hit the actual content tonight, right? Where we're talking about Disney queues, pre-shows, and yeah.
And so, you know, it's interesting because if you think about a queue is designed just to hold you in line until it's your time, you know, to get up there. And I'm sure that this was Walt's idea because we know that, you know, he was very innovative about parks and how to enjoy them with your kids and that families could enjoy them together. And I'm sure that the line design was his idea as well. The one that comes to mind is Jungle Cruise because I remember waiting probably over an hour, probably closer to 2 hours, with a family of 17. And we get to one area and we think, all right, this is it. We're getting close. And you peek around the wall and it's an entire other section of the queue. So they're really designed just to hold you in line. But the way that they do it and the way that they go about it is really cool. So, so we're going to talk about the best queues and the best pre-shows, which are different, right? A pre-show is different from a queue. So, how do you want to do this? Do you want me to run down my list of, because I have them separated into best queues, best pre-shows, and then worst queues.
Let's do, you know what? Do whatever you'd like. I'll follow your lead.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go over the best queues, and I'll name mine.
All right.
So for me, a queue, you've got to have stuff to look at to keep your mind off of however long that wait is. So for me, I like Expedition Everest. You got a lot of quote unquote artifacts out there as you're walking through the queue. Another fun one, or they're right across from each other, Toy Story Mania and Slinky Dog Dash. Toy Story Mania, you have a lot of the board games and dominoes and Uno cards and that kind of stuff. Tinker Toys. And Slinky Dog Dash, kind of the same thing, but it's more toy-based than game-based. I think Toy Story Mania is more game-based. Tron, I put Tron in best queue. That's not where I meant to put it, so skip that one. Peter Pan's Flight. I like the queue on that one. The queue in Peter Pan's Flight, you get to say Tinkerbell, you get to move the your shadow moves the bells and makes the bells go off. So I do like that as well. Again, just gives you something to do while you're moving through the line. I also like Monsters Laugh Floor because Monsters Laugh Floor, while not really a traditional queue, you kind of just huddled in the lobby before you go into the show area, but you have the jokes that they're doing on screen and they're talking. And then what I like about that is you can also um, you can also text in your own jokes. So for me, it gets you doing something while you're waiting for the show to start. Remy's in Epcot. So with Remy's, again, a queue is not, it's just a line, but I think Remy's has the best wallpaper of any ride area, right? Because you got the Eiffel Tower, and it's made of a knife and a fork and salt and pepper and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool to me. But I'm gonna give best queue to, and I just wonder in chat if you guys can guess what number one is. So for me, it's a newer ride. It is very interactive as a queue. It's going to be Guardians. Guardians has the best queue because as you go through that standby queue, it really acts as if you were in the World Showcase and the Xandar Pavilion. So it gives you a feeling of that. So you feel like you're a part of the you feel like that's part of the experience and you're not just waiting in line. They have that whole big map. They're telling you about Xandar and what's so significant about that compared to Earth. So I just think that's a really cool queue. So that would be my number one queue. Oh, you muted.
Sorry about that. So I said great job and great reasoning behind all of those as to why they are where they are. I didn't know I was supposed to rank them. Was I supposed to rank them?
Either way.
I'm just gonna freestyle it.
Okay.
I'll freestyle it. So I'll take us park by park. Let's start at Magic. I'll talk about some of my favorites there. So Haunted Mansion is, you got the stretching room and the queue is pretty short. So once you're in there, it's pretty fast. So that's a pretty good queue. That's a pretty good queue there. And
because you do have stuff to look at. You have all of the headstones to read and all of that. So it does give you something to do. That's true.
Yeah. So Pirates, it's very well themed. It's more of a cave that you're heading into. So what can you say about that? The music is playing, that cool Pirates music. So it's not a bad queue. I'm going to pick what I think are the best ones in Magic Kingdom. And by default, a lot of them are pretty quick. Tiki Birds is outside. They got a cool little show with the fire and the water. It's pretty. If you go over to Pooh's great for the kids. Not much for the adults to do, although you get to play with the honey on the walls, which is pretty cool. Another cave is over in Fantasyland, being Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And I think there's a good majority of people that literally walk around the corner where the barrels are and they don't know what to do with them.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, if we're talking about some of our favorite cues and pre-shows. As far as cues go, that's a good one.
Yeah.
If you spin the barrels, if people don't know, if you spin the barrels fast enough, but everybody has to participate.
Right.
You have to spin all the barrels, and if you spin them enough, if you look on the ceiling, you'll see different dwarfs appear, right? And then if they're all spinning in unison, Snow White will appear in the middle.
That's right.
Very, very imaginative.
And
So
again, gives you, the kids, something to do as you're, getting closer and closer to the ride. So the anticipation's building, and then it stops you to take part in this little activity, and then you move on to the next, then you go around the next corner.
another good cue in Magic Kingdom is Peter Pan, believe it or not. When you just walk by, you might think, oh, it's just outside. It's right there. It's more like poo. But you actually go inside, and if you catch it just right, you can see Tinkerbell with her pixie dust behind her in the hallway. You have great paintings in there. Of course, the kids aren't going to care too much about the paintings, but when you can get into the kids' rooms, you can actually see Tinkerbell jump in and out of locks, and you can interact with your own shadow.
Yep.
So, in talking it through, what do I think the best queue is in Magic Kingdom, or the top three? I would probably go, even though it's short, you got to go Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion is the best in the worst queue. It's the best because the stretching room is so unique, but it's the worst after you leave that room and you filter down with everybody else.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I can't help but make fun of that.
Yeah, that
whenever I'm in there.
And they just slam you, or you come out of the room and you're probably 8 wide, and then you got to go to like 1 wide. You do basically doing single file there.
Yes. So that's number 1. Number 2, I would probably go. I'm still going to go Pirates because I just no. You can't do that. You can't take the love of the ride and have that influence you for the queue. So with that said, I'm going to go Peter Pan number 2 for the interaction that you can have with Tinkerbell. Okay. And then I'll fall back to Pirates because, there's a lot of, it's a cave. There's some cannons and things like that. But I just love that classic music so much, and you get to enjoy that and kind of gets you excited for the ride. So those are my top 3 in Magic Kingdom. If I go over to Animal Kingdom, let's take that one because there's a lot less going on. So if we're going to take into consideration Bug's Life, we'll look at Everest, like you had mentioned, Flight of Passage, and am I really missing anything at that point for cues over there? I'll probably take those 3. Believe it or not, Bug's Life is really good. I mean, it's amazing. When you look at the architecture as you get closer to the tree of life with all the animals carved into it is really cool.
Yep.
And even the posters, when it comes down to the posters are so Imagineer-like, right?
Yes.
Beauty and the Bees.
Yeah.
You ever hear Beauty and the Bees? You can hear Beauty and the Bees on Park World Radio.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. So if y'all haven't heard that, definitely go to livingindiz.com. Over there, it's an amazing website. No one has a website even close to it in the Disney community. I'm very, very proud of it. Check it out sometime. Check it out often because it does get updated weekly with our schedules and much, much more. But I will say Park World Radio is on there. And if you haven't heard of Park World Radio is Disney Parks music 24 hours a day. And it can get addicting. And now and then Beauty and the Bees will come up. So I don't know if I can reproduce this, but they're playing, they sing or they buzz Tale as Old as Time.
Ah, okay.
So it's like bzz, 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 but a much higher pitch.
Yeah.
So that's That's good stuff. So that queue is really, really neat for that kind of stuff. But I still think that nothing can be outdone by Flight of Passage. Come on, floating mountains and waterfalls. And when I look at that thing, it's like I'm looking at it for the first time every time. So that has to be a clear number one. When you're inside, guess what? You're in a cave again. Do you sense the theme? But, once you're inside, there's still some really cool stuff. The theming is off the charts.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Flight of Passage number one. Of course, you have Na'vi River Journey too. Well done, but I'd probably sit that at number 4, and I would tuck Everest in at number 3. The Tibetan theming is really cool. It really is cool. All the artifacts, and it makes you just wonder when you're going through. I always think of it, how much of this stuff was actually used?
Right. Yeah.
Or did we just do such great creation? We made everything look like we pulled it from the mountainous area.
Yeah, I often wonder that when I see that, or the stuff in Jungle Cruise too. Like, how much of this is real, or are they just reproductions just for the queue?
So if we go over to Hollywood Studios, let me take my poll.
Before we leave Animal Kingdom, who has the worst queue in Animal Kingdom?
Oh, well, let's do that for every park. Who has the worst queue? The worst queue for Animal Kingdom. At first I thought of dinosaur, but then I remembered they have actual dinosaurs in there. There's good little history in there. So I'm going to say that's okay. Boy, do you have anything in mind that I'm not thinking of right now? Yeah. I have to say that did come to mind. And I'd probably have to go with that. Not that it's bad, but you're simply outside with a lot of foliage. There's a video playing. It's good. It's informational, but meh.
And Magic.
Oh yeah, what's the worst in Magic? The worst queue in Magic. I mean, you could select quite a few. I mean, I think it's too easy to do something like Goofy's Barnstormer. Even Little Mermaid, you're in a cave again.
Yeah.
But there's enough along the way that's kind of fun. You meet Scuttle and you get to see the little crabs moving around. So I would probably say, well, I don't know. I'd probably just say maybe Small World. You can see the ride, but there's no, and maybe they felt like they didn't have to do much along the way because you can see the ride. You can see the clock is pretty amazing though.
Yeah. So
the clock is pretty amazing.
Disney Park said Small World, but somebody else said the one I was thinking of.
I'm going to agree with Bree. Let's go with the Speedway. There's nothing there, but it's fairly similar to Small World, right? Where you can see the rides. So there really wasn't any work put in while you're in line.
Yeah. And it's loud and you can't even talk to each other because it's so loud. So yeah, that would be my choice. David Nessie went with Astro Orbiter. Yeah, that's pretty rough. You're tied in there with People Mover and the launching pad. There's just so much there. I thought about Carousel, Dana. Hello, Dana. I thought about Carousel. The only thing with Carousel is it's not really much of a queue because you're really just standing there until the next show lets you in. So I think they get a pass from me on that one. I was wondering if there's another one. Yeah, People Mover is kind of just a line. But yeah, Astro Orbiter is pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to agree with that one. I mean, you go on an elevator and you're up there. It's not the greatest of cues for
Yeah.
sure.
And then you get out of the elevator and then you got to stand there again. It's like, yeah, it's weird. Unless the elevator is the pre-show. I don't know.
Yeah, the elevator is the pre-show. Let's go. But at the same time, I don't think we can. I don't think we can criticize those cues for what they are, because it's just the way that the ride is set up. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why
Uh,
I give those a pass.
Well, Shannon, I think the teacups fall right into that same category. If you think about it, right? Let's think about this. With the Dumbo queue, you could actually give them kudos above all of those, because they simply could have just put you in line outside anyway.
Right.
But what did they do? They created a play area for the kids.
That's right.
Mark L says it isn't great for Barnstormer either. No, it's not. It's not. That goes right in that same category. So we kind of found a new category here.
Yeah, those are pretty standard. You're just waiting in line, and a lot of times it's outside, and you're not you're not covered, shaded. So,
Yep.
And in Florida, I don't know if you know, but it does get hot in Florida. So, being outside in a queue as you're waiting for a ride, not the most fun.
So if we jump over to, where are we going? Hollywood Studios?
Yeah.
Hi, Dana. We're heading over to Hollywood Studios next.
Yeah, Hollywood's next.
Okay. So let's talk about what I think are the top themes, and then I'll sort them out. Just like David Nesty says, you have Smuggler's Run. You have Millennium Falcon. If I jump over to Toy Story, we can really put Swirling Saucers in that same category as the cues that aren't the greatest.
Yeah. Could be much more there.
Yes.
They did stop. They had that thing that the kids always used to hit. I guess it kind of rocks back and forth. It makes this really loud noise. They stopped that from moving. I remember being on that waiting, and it's just so loud and annoying, and I would get a headache. So they did stop it from moving. So that was good.
Richard Gelati's mentioning Indiana Jones, AJ Hatt's Muppets 3D. So already I'm thinking that Hollywood Studios overall might have the best cues.
So AJ Hatts, I'm with you, but that to me is a pre-show, not a cue.
Which we're going to get into.
Yeah.
You notice I've been separating them as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bree says Hollywood Studios has a lot of excellent cues, so I would say Alien Swirling Saucers would be the weakest link, in my opinion. Yeah, right now I'm saying yes as we walk ourselves through this here.
Yeah.
So listen, there's a lot of great cues to consider. There's all the Star Wars ones, including Star Tours.
Absolutely.
They I'll say this: the cue that they dropped the ball on, though, is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And you know how much I love that ride. That cue really lacks, and it doesn't even compare to Disneyland's.
No.
I understand it's a theater, so you got to do something with that. But, okay, Disneyland, they put a popcorn area there, where you can buy a fake popcorn window and things like that. I think they could have torn that up in there and still incorporated a lot of that. So I really think they dropped the ball. Was it lazy? I don't know. Did they want to preserve the look? It's probably more if they want to preserve. I don't know. It's Disney. We cut corners now when we design things. So did we just try to cut corners, or did we think that we wanted to stick strongly with that theming and we're just going to see a movie and all of a sudden we end up within the movie? Hey, Taylor, Chicago, always great seeing you. So I'm not a big fan of that cue. I mean, yeah, I'm not. We'll get to the pre-show, but not a big fan of that cue. Now that cue does extend but you're really only you're inside where you can see the ride,
Right.
with cartoon wooden walls. So let's back out of that one. So that's my thought about Mickey and Minnie's. So I mentioned Tower of Terror, hopefully. Not a bad, it's an okay cue for Rock and Roller Coaster. Pre-show is different. And I think that we've kind of touched on everything, right? Of those types. So what I think are the best ones, let's sort those out. Toy Story Mania.
Okay.
Super theming in Toy Story Mania.
Yep.
That has to be considered. Smuggler's Run, we're going to put in that category of maybe, we might do a top 5 here. Smuggler's Run, Rise of the Resistance. We can throw in Star Tours. And we can throw in Hollywood Tower of Terror. And I would probably go with those. So my number one, you know what? This might shock you, but of the 3 Star Wars ones, what do you think? What do you think I would choose for number one?
Falcon.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Rise, guess what? You're in a cave.
Exactly.
So with Rise becomes a whole nother debate. We'll go back to Rise in a second. So if I'm going to give number one to the Smuggler's Run because of the Falcon, you probably have to go. I would take Star Tours over Hollywood Tower of Terror. And then would I do Tower of Terror over Toy Story? So when you go, there's some great theming there at Tower of Terror. I'm going to give it the edge, but there's so much great stuff going on in Toy Story Mania. So creative.
Yep.
No, I'm going to take that back. Toy Story Mania, number 3. Hollywood Tower of Terror, number 4. And at number 5, Rise.
Okay.
But before I declare that the final, we have to talk about Rise. You all can chime in because this is a big debate. And Neil's having flashbacks because we did a live stream on this channel like over maybe 5 years ago. And we were debating what's a queue, what's not a queue. So when you look at Rise goes from a queue to a pre-show.
Yeah.
To a queue to a pre-show.
Right. Yeah.
So you kind of have to break that up, right? So if we're talking queue when you enter, queue outside, and then the queue when you're in the hangar bay with all of the stormtroopers, which is just jaw-dropping, and then another little queue when they're lining you up. When you take all that and compare it to the Falcon, I'm still going to have to edge out the Falcon, but I'm going to push everything back and wedge Rise number 2. See, I just talked it out. Because people don't, do you all understand, everyone that has never been on Rise of the Resistance, do you understand the scale of that? I'd love to see everybody's response that has never been able to go as of yet, because when you are in that part of the queue, in the hangar, it is huge.
Yeah.
It is the biggest building with the highest ceiling you'll ever see in your life. Maybe. It is so high.
Yeah.
Maybe we could Google how high the ceiling is there. I'm sure we could find it somewhere. But I tried to point it out when we were live on Saturday that it's massive.
Yeah.
Absolutely massive.
And see, that's the thing about Rise is it messes with the whole you're in the queue until the pre-show starts. So it messes with that. And I remember the first time I got on Rise, I was so confused because after the first pre-show, they escort you on to the ship, and I remember thinking, wait, I thought this was the ride where you're there's like 6 in a car and you're moving along. Why are we getting on this ship? And then once you get captured, then it stuck out to me. And this was in 2020, so I hadn't seen much of it before then. But 50 feet. Dana says she's reading that it's 50 feet. Wow.
50 feet high. Thank you, Dana. 50 feet. It's just massive. It's big enough to look like a ship could dock there.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I failed to mention, before you do board the ship, there's an X-Wing outside.
Yeah.
There's an X-Wing. So, I'm glad I talked that out. So that does sit number 2 for me.
That was a prop from Mandalorian.
Was it?
Yeah. It was used in the show. I read that.
I did not know that. I wonder if Jacob knows that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Richard Gelati thinks that the room with the troopers is the pre-show.
I would agree. It doesn't feel like a queue to me, probably because you're not lined up standing next to bars and chains. So it doesn't feel that way. Plus, you just left the ship. So it feels like it's more of the ship. And then when you make the right turn, then you're back into a queue.
Dizzy Park says now that bumps rise to number 1. To me, it's just the sentimental fact that you can feel like you're in the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. It's pretty.
Which is nuts. All right, so
Falcon, they even make it, the floor, you can hear it as you're walking, like it's hollow, and so that adds to the effect of it. I think you used to be able to smell oil or something like that, but they took that out, I believe.
Was it bothering guests?
I think so. I think I had heard that. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh gosh, I forgot about the whole other part of the queue. So that makes it even better. I mean, you're walking through the garage and you could smell oil.
Yeah.
And the firing up of the engines and Hondo talking about that. And then you have Hondo himself talking with Chewie. The latest, greatest, cutting edge animatronics. All good stuff.
Yeah.
So jumping over to Epcot, you got to put Spaceship Earth right there with Test Track. Not Test Track, I'm sorry. You got to put Spaceship Earth right there with Tomorrowland Speedway. Right? I mean, there's nothing there.
I actually have it as one of my worst queues.
Yeah, that would be one of the worst queues as well. Not complaining, just a fact.
Just a fact.
It's just is what it is. It's outside.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's outside. So if it's hot, you're hot. It's outside, but it's under Spaceship Earth. So if it's windy, it's going to be extremely windy. Like it's just how it is. We've dealt with it for 41 years. That's what it is.
So yeah. I'm trying to think now. Other cues. Nemo, you're in a cave. I'm having fun saying that. And I bet none of you ever realize how many caves you stand in when you are waiting for rides at Disney. Yep. So you're in a cave. Nothing super special there. The land, again, nothing special there.
No.
Soarin', nothing really special there either. So if we jump over to Remy's.
Now, Soarin' does have a little bit of a game that you can do with the app, and I think it's like a trivia or something. I can't remember.
I feel like that's a game that people ignore.
Absolutely. For me, the reason I don't like Soarin' is too long. Oh, yeah, see?
You crack me up. You're like, absolutely. Yeah, Dana says Soarin' is a snooze fest.
Yeah.
Especially with the music, right? The music is great, but it's too relaxing.
It's too relaxing. Yeah.
If I wasn't talking to the stream, you might be like, all right, I'm just going to lean my head against the cold wall and just chill until it's time to move up.
Yeah.
So if we hit Frozen, it's okay. It's not a cave, but you feel like you're in a cave.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that really stands out much in Frozen for me. Unless I'm missing something. Where else are we going? If you go to Remy's, there's not a whole lot there either,
Mm.
right? For theming,
When you get
there's
to the
not a
very
ton.
Yeah, when you get to the very end, you feel like you're going back outside. Um, there is a little bit of a restaurant window, I think it is there, in one of the parts. So maybe there's a little bit. I gave it props because of the wallpaper, because I just love the wallpaper.
Oh, the wallpaper is great. The wallpaper is great. So, wow. Epcot is not too exciting when it comes to queues, is it?
Mm-mm.
You might have to give the nod to the best queue being Test Track.
No.
What am I missing? I'm not even into cars, but you get to now when you build your car, is that the queue or the pre-show?
Oh boy. There's got to be another term for that, right? Because it's kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, you're in the queue and then you build the car and then you go back into waiting. So I don't know. Dana said 3 cabs really get you in the mood because of the shopping. True. Excuse me, but
But I count the queue as soon as you get into the turnstiles there,
Exactly.
the ropes, the walls.
Yeah, and there's
But she's right. That's a great area.
Yeah. Do you rank?
We left out Figment, but I mean, by default, it could make one of the top 3 for sure. What would beat Test Track and what would beat Figment?
Guardians.
Oh, geez. I totally forgot about that one. Forgive me for blanking, everybody. Yeah, that's number 1. That's number 1 by far. By far. And then I would probably go, for me, I'd probably go Figment. Then I'd probably go Test Track. I'm not into cars much, but although, no, I'd go Test Track because I like the ability to have fun building a car.
What about Mission Space? What does that look like?
I thought of Mission Space. No, Mission Space is just way too simple.
Yeah, that's what
I think one of the categories when you're rating queues as well is how entertained will a child be.
Good point.
And I think if there's a chance for your kid to act up, it's in Mission Space. We'll have to do top 10 queues that your child is most likely to act up in.
Yeah,
so
Guardians number 1 there.
Should we talk about pre-shows?
Yes. So as I look at the pre-shows, again, now you're kind of out of the queue, I guess, with the exception of Test Track and Rise, because they kind of have a pre-show in the middle or mid-show. So Tower of Terror, love the Twilight Zone theming. You go into the it's a library, right? That you're going into there to watch the movie?
Yeah.
So there it plays, it kind of tells you the story, gets you ready for the ride. So for me, that's a favorite. Muppets Vision 3D, you're watching them get ready for the show. And it's classic. To me, it's classic Muppets. So can't go wrong with that. Runaway Railway, you're watching the movie, the premiere of oh my gosh, I just forgot the name of the
Picnic. The Picnic.
Yeah, Perfect Picnic. So you're watching the premiere, and then all of a sudden you are part of the cartoon. Like, what a cool concept that is. Haunted Mansion with the stretching room. I mean, who doesn't know that entire pre-show narration by heart? You know, and
there's no turning back now.
Dumbo, you mentioned it, but I did give Dumbo a nod for having a pre-show because I don't feel like the play area is a queue. Although I guess it could technically be because they do give you the buzzer. So you are still waiting, but which I mean, all pre-shows, that's all it's doing is making you wait. It's just making you wait while you watch something. So in Dumbo, you're watching something, you're watching your kids play. So I would say that. Okay.
I feel like you can see I was ready to say something, right? I feel like a pre-show is when action is happening as opposed to nothing happening.
Okay.
And there's something happening there. Kids are playing, so I guess we could throw that into a pre-show.
Best pre-show for me in Disney World. Also won Best Queue. Guardians.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my. Without a doubt. I have to agree. I was hoping to not agree with you, but just for variety, but
yeah,
I have to agree with you. That pre-show, again, you're in a massive room, you're teleported onto this ship, and you're right in the middle of all this drama unfolding. Absolutely, without a doubt, the best pre-show in Walt Disney World is that. Now, if I want to break it down, are you done?
Yeah, that was my top.
If I want to break it down park by park, this is good. We're getting two different views, your top 10 overall and what we think. And I like to talk things out, but I'll talk this out quickly here. Let's see, Magic Kingdom. There is, and you can help me out for time's sake.
Mm-hmm.
What do we really have for pre-shows? Well, you really have Haunted Mansion. And I'm not thinking of any other pre-show.
Wow.
In Magic Kingdom. I mean, there's a tiny Tiki Birds one. That doesn't count.
Tiki Birds, maybe. Chad, help us out. Are we missing any pre-shows in Magic?
If we're not, then you automatically give it to Haunted Mansion, which the stretching room is so classic.
Oh.
Todd
Josh R. Tron.
So
I give it to Tron. Again, it's kind of one of those in-betweens, right? Because you've waited online on the queue, then you get to go in, you think you're done, and then you have to wait. You have to wait on the line inside the building, then you have to get to the lockers, and then you have to wait on another line. So I guess it's not really a pre-show, it's a mid-show, we'll call it. But I do like that, especially because I draw back to when we did our preview for it, and you step into that room and you know a pre-show is coming, you just don't know what it is, and you have the frosted glass, and then it opens up. It's like, oh, that's cool, and you get to see him take off. So, but that's all it is. Like, think about the Haunted Mansion pre-show. That's very long compared to Tron.
When it comes to Hollywood, my favorite pre-show would have to be, it's got to be Rise. Has multiple areas for pre-show.
Yeah.
But really cool to see Ray with the hologram. And I don't call the hangar a pre-show. There's no action happening there.
Okay.
But then we have Kylo Ren with the interrogation.
So the interrogation with the cast members, where is that? Is that part of the queue? Or is that part of the pre-show?
That's pre-show. Because there's action.
Okay.
See, I think I'm onto something.
Yeah, I think you are.
That's action. So that's all pretty immersive. There's not a whole lot of, well, we say with the Falcon, right? There's some pre-show there too. Some really good pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah. It would be Rise. And then if you go over to Animal Kingdom for me, pre-show wise, okay. So this is debatable. When you're walking through Flight of Passage and we see the Avatar immersed, does that count as action taking place? If it does, that's a pre-show. Or is there no real pre-show in Flight of Passage? Well, there's the guy talking and testing, and you stand around.
There's a pre-show.
There's multiple pre-shows in that one.
It's actually on my worst pre-show list.
Okay. Okay. All right. So what is there left in Animal Kingdom that has a good pre-show? There really, am I missing anything?
I don't.
So you got to go. Flight of Passage has to be the best and the worst. We declare Flight of Passage neutral.
Yeah, it's an interesting one for me. I don't get the movie. The guy, he goes, oh wait, and this problem, and then he leaves, and then he comes back and never says what the problem was. Like it just
I think
throws me off.
when he leaves, that's because there's a delay. I don't think that's all the time. I think that's when there's a problem. Like when they're trying to load everybody up and not everybody syncs up. I think that's a backup where they need more time for something.
Yeah, but in the video when he says, oh, hold on, and he leaves and then he comes back, I don't know. I think that's always there. You know what we need to do? We need to ride it 35 times in a row and just see if it changes.
Let's go. Let's do it. Disney Dina says waving our arms on Flight of Passage pre-show. Yeah. Yes, it's action. We're part of the pre-show. Move around a little, says Shirley Renee. So yeah, there's not much there for pre-shows over at Animal Kingdom that come to mind for me. Listen, Dinosaur is one of the worst in all of Walt Disney World. I hate it.
Yeah.
Okay? I hate it with a passion.
Yeah.
It might be, you know what it is? I think if people love it, it's just for the sentimentality of it because it's classic Disney at this point.
Right.
One large dino or whatever. Yeah, that's one we wish we could just skip all the time. Like when COVID was here and they weren't doing pre-shows, we were like, we get to walk right through. That's the worst pre-show.
Yeah.
Maybe on the planet. So Epcot pre-shows, let's see. Test track. Yeah. I don't know what we're calling that. We didn't declare that a pre-show. So I mean, there's a little pre-show in Mission Space, but that one is pretty boring.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're doing what they need to do. They're making you feel like you're going to be a pilot and or whatever. And I get it. It's just not super interesting.
Yeah.
So pre-shows. I don't think there's a pre-show in Frozen. I don't think there's no pre-show in Remy. There's no pre-show in Spaceship Earth. There's no pre-show in The Land. Soarin', no. I don't think there's a pre-show in Epcot.
Except for Guardians.
Yeah, which is the best.
Yeah. By default.
And it has,
which is funny because it really, to me, is I think it's the best on property. I do. I think it's the best pre-show on property. I was thinking about Rise, but because Rise does have so much going on, but so does Guardians. So
this was a really good subject in debate. I think you and I sliced and diced it like no one else could.
Yeah.
In the way we did it.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah. We want to thank Steve Bullock for dropping the latest LID club member gift. We just love the support so much, Steve. You know, the mutual love back and forth. And blast a chat for Steve Bullock for that's Steve Bullock and Tony for dropping that gift. I don't know who picked it up because I don't have the live stream up. Richard Gelati?
Yeah.
Richard Gelati, congratulations. Anyone listening, make sure if you want to be qualified for a free 30-day membership, in the description of all of our videos, just go down and hit the opt-in link, and that will opt you in so YouTube knows that you would like a chance at a free membership. It's good for 30 days. You get your name highlighted in green. You get a loyalty badge next to your name. You get to be You have access to the members only podcast that happens before this podcast, and so much more. You get your name in the credits at the end of future live streams, as well as get to use all the fun emojis. And did you all notice Walt made his debut as an emoji?
Oh, I see that.
Yeah. I think I'm going to be a little bit more active in playing with our adding emojis, because I just realized I can do it on the go now in the app.
Very cool.
So we'll be able to give you all more variety with that. So let's hit up our sponsor.
Sharon wants to know, do you think the pre-shows are too long or long enough?
I think there's an easy answer for that. I think, I'm proud of myself coming up with this because it's on the fly. The pre-shows are exactly as long or short as they have to be.
Yes.
So we can't complain about them, because if you had a shorter pre-show or queue for something, you're going to have the chance to be a little bit more bored.
Yes.
Because if a ride takes 2.5 minutes, you want that queue to be 2.5 minutes along with pre-show and all that. Otherwise, you're just going to have some downtime and you're forced to talk to your family. So that's a joke. But, so they're as long or short as they have to be.
I wonder if that's why the Tron pre-show is as short as it is, because the ride is short. So you have a shorter pre-show. Could you imagine having a 2-minute pre-show and then a 90-second ride?
The ride would just be sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I bet that's why. Very cool.
No, Alicia, your name turns green no matter what membership you have.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we're supposed to have the ability to give memberships now as well, just a few a month. But I haven't seen that we have that option yet, Lawrence.
Yeah, I don't think it's rolled out to all channels yet.
All right.
But it is coming. You know, as many memberships as get gifted on this channel, you would think we would be one of the first to get it, because our members are very, very giving. And they share memberships with others like I just don't see anywhere else.
Yeah, you all are amazing, and I can't thank you all enough for spreading the love for the LID memberships, for real. And you're right. I'm sure you're right that, no other channel shares as much as our channel.
Yeah.
And anyone coming in, just discovering the podcast, just want you to know we are live from Disney parks 2 to 3 times a week. We also put out shorts and vlogs when we can. So there's a lot of variety and goodness going on. We have a website that really stands out. So you can always check that out, and you can always sign up for our email that also stands out, which is all top quality. And all you have to do is go to livingindiz.com, and you can go down to the bottom and you can put your email in there. You won't be spammed. I usually only send out 1 email a week, and it's just a simple 3-page email letting you know what's going on for the week on the channel. It's 100% handled by me, so I won't sell your email or anything. So just a good thing to have if you love the channel.
Yeah.
There are multiple ways to be informed on this channel as to where we're going to be and what we're going to do. So there's that. You ready to do Inside the Parks? But first, hit up our sponsors.
Let's go.
All right, everybody. We'll be back in a minute and a half, right after we just pay homage to our wonderful sponsors. Looking for a home that offers the perfect blend of luxury, comfort, and convenience with Disney World in your backyard? Victor Naraki is a licensed realtor with Vision Home Real Estate LLC. He is here to help you find the home of your dreams. With over 13 years of experience in the vacation home market and a proven track record of success, Victor is the perfect partner to guide you through every step of the home buying process. So why wait? Visit DisneyAtYourDoorstep.com today to learn more about Victor's exclusive range of properties and schedule a viewing with him today. Your dream home is just a click away. If you're planning your next Disney vacation, consider booking with Your Magical Adventures Await. Claudia is a Disney travel agent who can create a magical adventure to any Disney park worldwide. including Walt Disney World in Florida, Disney Cruise Lines, Alani Resort in Hawaii, and guided group vacations with Adventures by Disney. She can also plan Universal Studios trips. The best part? If you book with her, her services are free. Disney pays her to help you create a seamless, magical adventure. Her availability is unmatched, and you can contact her Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Make your magical planner Claudia Anderson today from Your Magical Adventures Await by calling her at 956-455-8049. You can also follow her on Instagram, all one word. Winter is not too far. Every time we do the podcast, I realize I still haven't edited out that spot. So have we put that in the checklist?
It is in the checklist.
The to-do list?
The to-do list, yeah. Yeah, we have a long to-do list, folks, just so you know.
We do. And it's good. It's good to go back and check it out because there's so many things we want to do for the channel, and we never get to everything. You know, it's almost like I view the channel like Walt viewed like Epcot or the entire parks, where it's always evolving, always changing. I guess he never really said maybe he did, that it'll never be done. Like I don't think I'll ever get this channel to operate to the optimal point that I would love it to be. I mean, I would have to be full-time doing this to do it.
And even then, because you would be in it so much, you would find 10 other things every time. So no, it'll never be done. No.
Yes, if you care enough and you're a perfectionist and you really want to put out the best quality to your viewers, it would be never-ending. Yeah, never-ending work.
Walt said Epcot is in a state of becoming.
Yes, and the channel is in a state of becoming all the time. Dana said earlier, do you feel like any of the queues are too much, a la the Haunted Mansion? Can you answer that? I'm not sure exactly what she means by that. She says, I guess I missed the old queue. I find the new one has too many bells and whistles.
Oh. So maybe overstimulation before the ride, maybe?
I don't mind it.
No,
I don't mind it.
I don't mind it.
And when you're in the longer part of the queue, you know, you can read the tombstones and things like that. Mm-hmm. So no, again, I think what they do with the queues is what they need to do. Like it's however long they need to entertain you before you get to the ride. And never thought of this before, but the queue has to match the ride time, at least minimally, right? Obviously, you can be in line for an hour for a ride that lasts 2 minutes.
Sure.
But you can't be in a queue that, lasts a minute with a ride that lasts 2 minutes.
Right.
So, all right. Time for some Inside the Parks before we wrap this baby up. I think we might have something to talk about.
Another
so funny.
Week in the parks.
What's that?
Another boring week in the parks.
You know, typical stuff. Not much happened. I should call it This Week in the Parks because that's what it really is. So, listen, I chatted it up all week the week before, right? About how we decided we were going to do for my birthday stream, Magic Kingdom. We were going to do Whispering Canyon, take the boat over, and I thought that would be great for the stream to see, take the boat over. You don't get to see that all the time. And then we would eat, have a ton of fun at Whispering Canyon. And then we would go back to Magic Kingdom to watch Happily Ever After and just close out the park from there and maybe a little shopping with Tammy and all that. Well, things shifted on Thursday night when I took the stream shopping after a night of Hollywood Studios on that Thursdays. Well, we saw a little sign that said you could meet Ashley Eckstein, who is the voice of the animated Ahsoka Tano from all the Star Wars series. And I read it a little bit, and it really stuck in my head. I went home thinking, that would be something really cool to do on Saturday. But there were so many factors to it. We really discussed it a lot. And I figured I would leave Jacob in charge of that. So I left him in charge of it, where I threw the idea out to him and said, what do you think of this? Because it is going to entail us changing parks, which is no big deal, changing restaurants, as well as, here's the big one, getting up in like the 4 o'clock hour at least. So asking a 15-year-old to do that, you gotta get the go ahead. So we went back and forth, and finally we decided, all right, it's worth a shot. But then it became, what time do we leave?
Yeah.
You know, people are crazy when it comes to Disney and new things. My advice is always expect the worst, meaning if something new is coming out of any kind, you got to be there at like 4 a.m. sometimes, 5 a.m, or you're going to be left out. And that was the debate. I don't want to wake up too soon. I don't want to wake up too early. No, early or too late and get there too late. Well, I did a little research, and from what I could gather, Disney doesn't open the parking lots until an hour before. So I knew that the parking lot was going to be open at 7:30 for early park guests, because they would get that first half hour, 8:30 to 9. But then I thought, okay, when your car enters I just call them the turnstiles or whatever, if anybody doesn't know, when you come to drive in at Disney, it looks like toll booths, and the cast member comes out and scans your Magic Band, or you pay for parking. And I thought that there was a good chance that could be really backed up off the exit.
Right.
We rolled the dice. We got there about 7. Little after 7. No, a little before 7. Just before 7. I think about 7:50. And so in doing that, we did get lucky. There were just a few cars ahead of us, and they chose to park on the side of the road. Because if you drove right up, it was all coned off, and cast members were waving you to actually pull a U-turn and leave. So we pulled over and we followed everybody else. And I thought we were going to be able to stay there until it was time. But eventually a security guard came by and addressed every car on both sides being on the side of the road and said, safety hazard, we can't be here. So I did the U-turn, drove out about 1.5 miles, couple miles, and came back around as slowly as I could. And I actually timed it where it was like 6 minutes to open. And at that point, I'm like, oh boy, are they going to make us do this again? But with about like 3 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go, people started creeping up. And I'm like, they're not going to make everybody leave now. So I just got behind everybody, and we parked in the front row. And at that point, we're still worried. I'm a little bit nervous. Is this going to work out? It's scheduled for the stream. I want to make sure this happens. And to that point, I was still really nervous that it might not happen, but we're observing, and okay, we parked in the front row and we're heading in. We're starting to walk a little quick. And then I was kind of sizing up the crowd that was walking with us. And Jacob's like, what do you think? And I was like, oh, okay, well, those two guys over there, they think they're going to ride Small World today. They have no idea what's going on. I'm like, oh, those people dressed in Ahsoka outfits. You could kind of tell who you thought might be there for that event.
Yeah.
So we slowed down. We're like, okay, we're ahead of everybody. So at this point, so we can just kind of walk. And there was a girl behind me who had Ahsoka gear on. And I just figured I'd joke with her, and I turned around while we were all still walking, not breaking stride, and I said, oh, what are you here for? And she laughed, and turns out she was a cast member in training, and she was able to come out for this event, the meet and greet with Ashley Eckstein. but had to go back for training after that for 1:00.
Wow.
And here's the caveat. She has never been to Hollywood studios.
Crazy.
How crazy is that? To go into Hollywood studios, your first time ever, you get to meet a Star Wars actress at a special event. So she stayed behind us. And when we went through security, we went through fine. This is where I have to compliment Disney from here on out with this event, because there's a few events here and there that they do where people will complain, oh, they didn't do this right. They could do this better. I mean, Jollywood, right?
Mm-hmm.
The biggest, that had some of the biggest issues, and then they fixed them. But this event, I hope that, and I don't know if this is the first time they've done things so well in an event like this, or maybe it doesn't happen much, but 1000% kudos to Disney, because from there, they had 2 areas you could go to. If you were an early park guest, you went in that line, which was massive. There had to be 500 people minimum waiting to get in the gates.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody there for Ashley Eckstein, they literally pulled you over to the side and said, if you're here for that, let us scan your magic band, which quickly made me say, oh no, was I supposed to register for something? Because This sounds like they're looking for something.
Right.
Nope. They just scanned the band and they said, follow that cast member and they'll put you in a line. And I said, does this mean we're guaranteed to meet her? Yep. And I was like, oh, stress-free from that point on.
Right.
They put us in the 3rd line. It was probably 50 people deep. And they let the first line go, the second line go in. And then we went in. And I am working on a vlog, and you will all see this in the beginning. I turned the camera behind me. The entire crowd of the early entry people were still not in. We actually got in before they did.
Wow.
Yeah. And then Keystone Clothiers, which is the final store on your left side when you enter Hollywood Studios on Hollywood Boulevard. They put us on the back side of that, lined up. Beautiful weather. Everybody was calm, relaxed. And I just asked them, I'm like, okay, this is really happening and happening soon. So I need to know when to go live. So I went live right there because I talked to the cast member and she was like, oh, people are already going in. And I was like, oh, I couldn't tell. Yeah. And she said, oh, we're just letting in a handful of people at a time. So you can shop, or take your time, look at the merchandise, make your choices. We want a pleasurable experience. I was like, wow. So I went live. We grabbed everything we wanted first, size-wise, to make sure we secured that. And then we just went back, and I had Jacob stand in line, and I showed all the merchandise, took as much time as I needed. And we got our wristband, and we went in line, and we waited to meet Ashley Eckstein. And let me tell you, Ashley Eckstein is an amazing person. So sweet, so genuine. You wouldn't know she's a celebrity. She took her time with everybody, at least an average of 3 minutes. And I did see her meet that cast member, and she was in tears, that cast member. Yeah. I just got chills from from head to toe watching her meet her. And that was really cool. And to meet Ashley, I decided I wanted to do 2 things with Ashley. I wanted to get her to take the stream, and she did, and said hello to everybody, which is a short. If you all haven't seen it, it's a short on the channel now. Ashley took the stream. She had fun with that. And I got to do Yoda. I get to perform Yoda for Ahsoka. And she's funny because the second time I did it, she stopped and she was like, you're way too good at that. So that was a fun meeting. And you know what I regret? I talked to Jacob about this because we all know Jacob is a little quieter. I didn't want to overstep him. And I feel like I did. I said, let you speak first, and totally forgot about Jacob in the moment. He said it was okay. He said the real joy was to be able to meet her. But as a dad, a caring, loving dad, I still felt badly that he didn't get to exchange words with her. He got to hug her. You get to enjoy the moment. But I feel badly about that part. But all in all, amazing experience. And I did learn later that not everybody was guaranteed to meet her. They were supposed to do a hard cutoff at 11:30 or so. And she stayed and met every single person. And the rumor is like till at least 2 or 3, 2:30.
Wow.
And then we went through the park day. We did a 14 and a half hour stream or whatever. I held on. I held strong. There were moments where I was fatiguing. I was tired, but we made it through. And I was willing to leave after we saw the first 2 groups of the lightsaber groups or whatever. But Jacob wanted to stay. So I stayed for him. And we watched them all. And that's probably the longest span where I've spoken the least in a live stream. So beautiful day. Great day. And we decided that we will be doing another like 14 somewhat hour stream on May the 4th in this very same park. So it'll be a lot of fun. You'll be there. Other friends will be there. And I can pass the stream around and I don't have to have it for 14 hours.
No.
Although I don't mind having it for quite a bit of that. But, I'll have Tammy to pass off to you and Neil, if Neil joins us for May the 4th. So it'll be a good time. Alicia says Jacob is so kind and sweet. Actually, in the middle of that stream, right, we went over to Roundup Rodeo Barbecue. I don't ever even know if I say that right. And y'all can go over and watch that review of the restaurant. We break it down food by food in detail. And I really think Jacob came out of his shell a little bit. I complimented him that he was really funny on stream at times. And, I think he needs that encouragement because he is shy like that. He really is.
No, he did a great job that whole day. But especially during Roundup Rodeo, I thought he did really well.
He did, and he was really funny. He said some kind of line like, this chicken is so dry, it sucked up every ounce of saliva from my mouth.
Yeah.
So, it certainly was a great father and son day. I cherish those. And if you ever ask me what my favorite moments are with the channel, a lot of them surround our father-son days at the park. And unfortunately the girls couldn't join us. Tammy was under the weather and she chose to rest at home. So, and it was my birthday stream, but that's okay. I got a little lazy Sunday night with my cake. It was about 10 o'clock at night. That's when we do cake. And she's like, all right, round up the kids. And I was like, you know what? Forget it. Just leave them alone. They're in their rooms. Just give me the knife. I'm cutting the cake. So to me, it was the first time in my life I never put candles on. I'm like, I'll just make a wish and then we'll cut the cake. So, but Tammy said to me, she's like, you know what? Like the last 2 out of 4 years, I didn't have candles either. I'm like, oh, really? And if anybody wants to know what Tammy got me for my birthday, close your eyes. What do you see? Nothing. I was the victim this time of, I just have. What do you get the guy that has everything?
Yeah.
So it's totally fine. I didn't need anything. So it's totally fine. I think, let's see, David at SC says, I think of Jacob fruit waffle review and the mad dash to smugglers. Absolutely. And you can absolutely add in when we tried to take the Dole Whip floats from Sunshine Tree Terrace.
Mm-hmm.
No, am I right?
Yep.
All the way to Peter Pan in 101 degrees.
Not happening.
It doesn't fly. It was a terrific food review at Rodeo Roundup. Jacob was so natural and his comments are so true and natural. Thank you so much, Ann. He would appreciate that, and I'll tell him. So I'm going to leave it there. I think I talked a lot about inside the parks. We're at an hour and 30. Yep. We did a wonderful, wonderful job covering all those topics, I think.
Yeah, that was very good. That was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. We're becoming more and more natural, I think, my friend, to just take those topics and run with them.
Yeah. All right.
It's good stuff. Let's move that DizPod up another notch with feedspot.com.
Listen, it wasn't even a week ago we were 12th. and we moved up 5 places. So I will take 7th, but if top 5 comes along, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, Disney Dina says Jacob was super chatty. It was awesome. And Tammy says, didn't get anything for my birthday last year. No big deal. Just getting older. Yeah, I mean, there just comes a point where it's really hard to buy for each other because we just buy for each other during the year.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So, are we doing a Valentine's Day live Dispod?
I don't know. Hey, chat. What do you guys think? 2 weeks from. Nope. Yes, 2 weeks from today is Valentine's Day. It falls on a Wednesday. I don't know. I talked to Catherine. I didn't get an answer. So.
Ooh, that might mean you're not allowed to do it. We'll have to see. Time will be tight. I'm locked in for that Thursday. I can't do anything.
Okay.
So wait a minute. Valentine's Day is on. Oh, it's on a Wednesday. Yeah, I'm locked in for that Thursday for work, so I cannot do anything there. So we'll have to figure that out.
Okay.
David SC says, up to the wives. I know Tammy won't care. She won't.
Because we would have an idea behind it. It's not like, we would just be doing a podcast that night. So
I'm open that night. So it's all up to Lawrence, and we'll let you all know. Always leave it up to the bosses. But it's true. If Tammy was like, no, it's Valentine's Day, then I would. Look at that. She's like, we don't celebrate Valentine's Day. You know why? See if she agrees with me. Because Valentine's Day is every day for us.
I was looking for a sound effect. I don't have an sound effect.
Dana Bauerline says $100 shopping giveaway to buy for your significant other. Well, I bought her something today for her birthday. And you know what I got? I don't need anything. Too bad. Oh, she says it's overrated. Ooh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Tammy, active in the chat.
Wow.
All right. We'll be back on the Dispod next week, 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yep.
And we enjoy all of your company. Thank you so much for helping this become the 7th rated podcast out of all the podcasts out there in the Disney community. And we hope to continue to move up. And if we don't, we're going to keep doing what we do.
That's right.
Yep. Immersed in love. Now, with a name like Immersed in Love, he's got to know about love. And he says, your wife listens to you. Your wife listens to your podcast. True love right there. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. If you join live tonight, we do it live because we do it for you. And thank you so much for anyone that does the re-listen. We appreciate that. Or the rewatch. We appreciate that as well. Classic Dispods are dropping every Sunday on this channel about 3 p.m. Eastern time?
6
p.m. Eastern time, and it is non-video. And we're going to do that every week till we reach the 16 that I originally did as the Dispod before it became this partnership with Lawrence. And I hope you all enjoyed it. We had so much fun doing it. We truly love you all. I don't just say that. The next park live stream is Saturdays back to Hollywood because Tammy hasn't been to Hollywood in a while. So you'll all see Tammy back. And we'll enjoy some Hollywood studios. So for the Dispod, this is two Park Bros, two Dispod Bros. I'm Corey.
I'm Lawrence.
And I guess we just say, and we're the Dispod.
Yeah.
And we're the Dispod. So have a wonderful week, everybody. And we'll see you next week.
People living over any